evening. Thank you for joining us. My name is OMONDI, and this is KTV Prime Time News. It is a Tuesday, the 11th day of October, the year 2022. Tonight, we have a lot in store for you on what is happening in the country and, of course, beyond our borders. But first, let's take a look at the stories making headlines tonight. Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka protests government move to lift ban on GMO crops. ODM leader Raila Odinga cautions Kenyans to brace for higher cost of living. Man shot dead after stabbing 3 in an attempted bank robbery in Nairobi. President William Ruto attends the bell-ringing ceremony to launch Nairobi Securities Exchange.
KUTV Primetime News with OMONDI OTIENO.
Welcome to the broadcast, and what alone amid the company of Maclean Achien, who is our sign language interpreter tonight. And we're streaming live this broadcast on our social media platforms on Facebook, KUTV Kenya, and Twitter, KUTV_Kenya. It's also live on YouTube at KUTV Kenya Live. Now, Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka has expressed his concerns on the move by the government to lift the embargo on GMOs. Kalonzo urged the president to rethink his stand on the matter, saying that the GMO foods would reduce food shortages in the country, but in the long run, citizens will experience adverse health effects.
Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Core Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka has urged President William Ruto to embark on his earlier view on opposing GMOs when he was a Minister for Agriculture, at the same time calling upon reconsideration of the lifting of the ban on GMOs.
We have lived in this country long enough to know there are sometimes cyclical issues about drought. The management of drought, for example, we have the National Drought Management Authority, which I happen to know is trying a lot to see whether they can work, and we had the Deputy President call the stakeholders. That was a positive thing, to see how to deal with the matter of drought.
While speaking to the press, Kalonzo said that food security should not be premised on maize consumption alone, insisting adoption of BT maize seed will not bring down the cost of maize since the price is artificially manipulated.
Climate change is perhaps even harsher now than ever before. I can tell you I was Minister for Environment one time, and my assistant was the late Professor Wangari Maathai. We remember won the Nobel Peace on the matter of environment. In fact, he used to use this example of the hummingbird, which would rush and carry some water in the leaves to do something. At least she was able to do something. The matter of the Shamba system was introduced when I was Minister for Environment. We dropped it like a hot potato.
He also expressed his concerns about the silence of the church, which was once against GMOs, urging religious leaders not to get soothed by the new administration's decisions.
So you can imagine, if you're going to do Shamba system in Mao, the first casualty will be Mao River. And the next thing is the world wonder we call the world every annual event, the world migration will be a thing of the past. What are we doing to our children and our children's children? All because we need to catch up with some lost time in terms of raising and necessary funding.
This has come days after the civil societies gave a list of demands that they wish the government would address, including the reinstatement of embargo on GMOs.
The lack of public participation. The rash decision to lift the ban on the importation of GMOs into the country lacked public participation. No public consultations were done, and the views of the public were not considered in the decision to lift the ban.
The government's intention to curb the ravaging food costs so it lift the ban on GMOs that has brought an array of sparked reactions, some praising its action and others claiming that it is up to bringing more shortcomings than benefits. John Wahome, reporting for KUTV.
And police officers in the capital are investigating an incident where an armed man tried to forcefully rob money at Equity Bank in Nairobi West branch. During the incident, 2 guards and a customer were injured after they were stabbed by the man with an aim of stealing money.
It is here at the Equity Bank Nairobi West branch where confusion ensued at the early morning of Tuesday, October 11, after an armed man entered forcefully to the bank with the intention of stealing money. The armed fellow was after a G4S personnel who was carrying the cash to the bank. Unfortunately, his plan was conned by a police officer who was escorting the G4S personnel, who gunned him down. Before his death, the man attacked the female officer at the entrance before proceeding to confront the other police officer in the banking hall, demanding that he turn himself in while the clients ran away for safety. The police officers arrived at the scene swiftly to the rescue of the guards after hearing the gunshots and restored the situation. Following the incident, Equity Bank's management has released a statement calling for the closure of the bank temporarily to allow the police to finalize their investigations. The authorities have also revealed that investigations are on to reveal the intention of the attacker, promising to give a detailed report once the investigations are over. Shadrach Simiyu, KUTV.
And we hope the culprit, of course, will be brought to book and justice be served. Now, President William Ruto attended the official bell ringing ceremony to the launch of the enhanced Nairobi Securities Exchange Marketplace in Nairobi. The initiative, as he noted, was meant to accord a chance for the medium, small and micro enterprise MSMEs traders to participate in the Nairobi Securities Exchange. In what seemed to be the actualization of the bottom-up economic transformation model, President William Ruto today attended the bell-ringing ceremony to mark the official launch of the enhanced Nairobi Securities Exchange Marketplace. As he rang the bell at the trading floor, the President said he looked forward to a time when the hustlers to be trading in the national stock market.
And the ringing of the bell signifies the opening of the markets for the day. It signifies the opening of the markets for the day.
I am looking forward to the time when Mama Mboga, while she's waiting for her next supply, she's on her phone buying Safaricom shares, buying Kenya Breweries shares, buying, hopefully, we should be able to buy Bitco shares.
The President also noted that the Nairobi Securities Exchange has an untapped potential which could greatly help in solving Kenya's need for financial aid from the foreign lending bodies. He also promised that his administration will list at least 6 to 10 parastatals in the NSE within the next 12 months through the state divestiture, challenging the private sector to also follow suit.
I believe the capital markets, and I've said this before, has the potential to help us raise development capital as government.
In attendance to the event was the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua, Nairobi Governor Johnson Sakaja, who strongly lauded the initiative, saying he anticipates Nairobi being the region's leading investment hub.
We are voted into office overwhelmingly by the people of Kenya on a platform of economic transformation. In that journey, in that quest, the capital markets industry is our very serious partner.
Working closely with partners like the Nairobi Securities Exchange, the Nairobi International Financial Center, Authority, Kenya Invest, amongst others, we can create Africa's leading investment hubs.
The NSE market will be a monthly exercise with an aim of demystifying operations of NSE and opening up opportunities to the hustler and the global investors to be on the economic table. The Nairobi Securities Exchange, which was established in 1954, is the leading stock in East Africa.
Unemployment has hit you hard. Your salary is meager. You decide to venture into business, but you're struggling to thrive in it. You would want to reap a big tip on how not to run into losses.
Forget the preachy business vlogs, the hyperbolic motivational speeches, and all the roads down desperation.
Hope has come with model stories from small successful entrepreneurs. We tell you these tales weekly on The Budding Entrepreneur. Join us as we help you make your trade profitable and often smile to the bank.
I'm sure you're tired of cooking the same thing over and over again. And in this new season, we are going to be learning how to prepare a particular ingredient in 2 or more different ways. I'm your chef and host, John International 254, and this is our Delicacy Show.
Welcome back. Let's continue with the broadcast. Now, the National Assembly and the Senate today re-embarked on their sessions where they nominated and officially approved members who will serve on the respective houses' business committees. This comes even as the MPs debate for the last time the presidential speech which he read during the joint parliament opening on the 29th day of September.
The National Assembly, through the leader of Majority Kimani Ichung'wah, has appointed members who will serve on the House Business Committee, names which were also accepted by the leader of Minority Opiyo Wandayi. The list was presented to the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, who read the names and authorized them to serve officially on the Business Committee after approval by members from both camps. The MPs include Samuel K. Chepkonga, Faith Wairimu Getao, Kasim Sheikh, Omboko Milema, Robert Mbui, Eden Keinan, Tom Joseph Kajwang, Sarah Pauleta, and Josh Ombidi. The leader of Majority said the list considered regional balance as well as the parties present in Parliament. In the Senate, the senators approved to work on the Business Committee include lawyer Hilary Kiprotich Sigei, Veronica Ndwati, Abdul Mohamed Haji, and Catherine Munyeka Muma. Through the relevant approval, Parliament now officially begins processing and transacting business of the 13th House. MPs and senators also debated on the President's speech, which he read during a joint Parliament opening, members from the Azimio camp emphasizing on the need to know how corruption will be tackled, while their counterparts from Kenya Kwanza assuring them that the government has a special plan on how to deal with corruption. Following this action, the MPs are expected to appoint a committee that will vet and approve the Cabinet Secretary nominees before November 3rd. Eugene Mayabi, KUTV.
And ODM party leader Raila Odinga has hit out on President William Ruto for failing to cushion the Kenyans despite unveiling several measures to curb the high cost of living. Odinga has cautioned Kenyans to brace themselves for higher cost of living, stating that the next 3 months will be unbearable under the Kenya Kwanza regime. Speaking at a meeting with the Bunge la Wananchi, the former premier criticized Ruto's move to reintroduce genetically modified organisms, the GMOs, despite health issues being raised by the experts.
ODM party leader Raila Odinga has hit out on President William Ruto for failing to caution Kenyans despite unveiling several measures to curb high cost of living. Odinga has cautioned Kenyans to brace themselves for high cost of living, stating that the next 3 months will be unbearable under Kenya Kwanza regime.
Unajua Kenya wanasikia vibaya. Kuna uchungu mingi zaidi. Wakati wa campaign yale ahadi zilizidi. Watu kushika namna hii, bei ya unga tutatoa 200 na tutarudisha mpaka hivi shilingi 70 kwa mfuko. Sasa bei ya unga imeenda wapi? Juu. Bado zaidi. Walisema tio bei ya mafuta petroli itarudi chini. Imeenda wapi? Juu. Walisema watatoa ile inaitwa Hustler Fund. Hii Hustler Fund imeonekana.
Speaking at a meeting with Bunge la Wananchi, former premier criticized Ruto move to reintroduce genetically modified organism that was banned in the country 10 years ago despite health issues raised by experts.
Nchi mingi ya Ulaya imekataa. Ujerumani imekataa. Nchi ya Uholanzi imekataa. Italiano imekataa. Sweden imekataa. Kule nchi zingine Estonia imekataa. Ufaransa imekataa. Yale yote ni nchi ambazo zimeendelea kiusayansi. Tumekataa kwa sababu gani? Kwa sababu wanahakika kwamba itadhuru maisha ya watu yao.
As Odinga and his lieutenants wait for 100 days of Kenya Kwanza government to lapse, nonetheless Odinga has called on his supporters to remain calm, promising to keep the government in check. Auma Evans for KUTV, Nairobi.
Now, the Anti-Corruption Court has freed the former Member of Parliament for Kipiriri, Amos Kimunya, and 2 other co-accused persons. Kimunya has been freed on 700,000 Kenyan shillings cash bail, while the co-accused persons were granted 1 million Kenyan shillings cash bail each. Kimunya, Lilian Wangiri, and Njugae Wainaina appeared before the court in Milimani today to answer the charges against them on the 16 million shillings fraud case. Now, the case was revived by the Director of Public Prosecutions, Nurdin Haji, after presenting enough evidence before the court that Kimunya was to answer. Defense hearing is scheduled to be starting on the 31st of October. And the interviews for the 10 shortlisted candidates for the position of the Director of Criminal Investigations have been conducted today. The interviews took place at the Kenya School of Government in Lower Kabete, Nairobi. The acting DCI boss, Hamisi Massa, did not, however, make it to the final list of the officers shortlisted, considered for the appointment to replace George Kinoti. On my chronometer, it's 20 minutes past the top of the hour. It's time to take our first break here on KUTV Primetime News. The moment shall be coming back with the discussion of the night, looking at the state of politics with the members of parliament sitting today agreeing on the House Committee, the business committees in the National Assembly, and of course also in the Senate. Just a lot happening. We've also seen what's happening with the opposition, keeping checks in the moves that are lately made by the government. Stay with us. See you just in a moment.
Bila shaka, mbiu ya mgambo ikilia, kuna jambo. Na sasa, katika KU TV Rise Today, makala ya TBT. Tunaongeza kuni, tunawasha moto. Tunaingia barabarani kuangalia hali ilivyo. Takwimu za corona na kupa habari zinazojiri na zinazokuhusu na kujuza na kukumbusha yaliyotendeka siku kama hii ndani ya historia. Kisha na kuletea wageni na wataalam, tudadavui, tufahamu na tuchukue nafasi yetu kama vijana katika uongozi, uchumi na masuala ya kisiasa nchini. Na joto likizidi, tunaingia uwanjani, tunachambua spoti ya Kenya. Ni kila Alhamisi saa 1 hadi saa 4 asubuhi, nami Vincent Maina almaarufu Ojwang mtoto wa Mariam, ndani ya KU TV, a new experience.
Welcome to Children's Corner. Welcome to Children's Corner. Children's Corner.
Sasa ni bora zaidi, mwanzo mpya, mambo mapya. Msimu mwingine wa Boresha Kilimo unakuletea teknolojia ibuka, kilimo mseto, uongezaji thamani. Teknolojia dijitali ya mauzo inawezesha ufikiaji wa masoko. Soko moko yako, mahangaiko yako ya kufikia masoko yamefika kikomo, manake tunao Mkulima Yangu.
What Mkulima Yangu does is it connects farmers with the market.
Hii ni Boresha Kilimo kwa ushirikiano na Mkulima Yangu. Atafutaye hachoki na kichoka kesha pata. Kwa makala maalum ya kilimo, ungana nasi kila Jumamosi saa 6:30 kwenye kipindi ukipendacho Boresha Kilimo.
Technology, science, innovation, ICT and research. These are the ingredients upon which the solutions to the 21st century problems are founded. In a world that is rapidly changing, it's all hands on deck to ensure a balance in all fields of life. Women, young and old, are also in the front line, breaking the glass ceiling, becoming thought leaders in the larger tech space. Not forgetting other societies marginalized. And when the tech Avengers come together, we inch closer to a much safer, efficient and sustainable world. What we view as a norm in today's advanced world was just an idea, and for nostalgic reasons, we trace back the iconic days to bring you the retro tech. On Technovation Show, we encapsulate all the pillars of the fourth industrial revolution, decoded in a language, all for one for all. Make a date with me, Samson Jura, every Monday at 8:30 as we push the mantra, keep learning something new each and every day. Only on KUTV, a new experience.
Tennis basically means everything to me. Ever since I started playing, it plays a very important role in my life.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with OMONDI OTIENO.
Welcome back. Thank you for staying with us. And now it's time for the discussion looking at the state of Kenyan politics. Now with the clock ticking, days counting for the first 100 days in office, the Kenyan political scene seems to start getting busy with government initiating projects and the opposition keeping checks in the moves. The lift of the embargo on GMOs has taken toll, with Kenyan leaders heavily opposing the move. The members of parliament also approved the names of the legislators who are fronted by the political parties for the constitution of the House business committees. The ball is now rolling, and that forms the basis of our discussion tonight to assess the state of politics. And joining me is our political analyst, Kotonde Kotonde. Thank you so much, Kotonde, for dedicating your time for this discussion.
Thank you very much.
All right. Now, Kotonde, let us now get the ball on its place. So we are looking at the Kenyan political scene. We have seen in the rush for the government to probably fulfill the promises that they made to Kenyans for the first 100 days. We've seen the President, William Ruto, having a lot of state visit in other foreign countries. And of course, we have also seen the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, launching projects here and there. So it's been really a busy schedule for the leaders, probably in attempt to, deliver the promises they made to Kenyans for the first 100 days. But what we saw today is the leader of opposition now, the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga, saying that the president used deception with a lot of promises to Kenyans, and he might not be able to deliver most of them within the first 100 days of office. So we're seeing just a lot happening. Of course, the checks being kept on the government within these first 100 days in government. So what really do you make of the situation that we're seeing in the Kenyan political scene?
First of all, just to remind Kenyans that we must be ready to prepare our minds for very tough times ahead. Two, the country, as we speak, we are economically down.
Yes.
Based on the fact that we were hit by the COVID, and also we had an election the following year. Thirdly, the government of the day gave promises which were, like today I had the Deputy President saying very well that they were elected fully because of their manifesto.
Yes.
As we speak today, their manifesto is not coming forth because they said within the few days in office, we must expect the prices of unga to be low. The common mwananchi's life must go down, but it has not been going so. We must embrace ourselves for tough times ahead, because in new government, new systems must be put in place whereby what is really eating our economy today is the corrupt leaders and the corruption cases. The current government must try to at least try to work on those who have cases, to at least tell Kenyans that we are really trying to adjust properly so that we weed out those who are not properly in the office, like the case of Kipipiri MP, yes, Amos Kimunya, and then we also have the Major Waluke, just to name a few. Though we must, the bottom line is we must be ready to prepare for tough times. Yeah, a lot of adjustment must be done in the next 100 days, just as was said by the Right Honorable Raila Amolo Odinga today at Jivanji. The government is also there to be questioned, right? Like, he really talked about the GMO.
Yeah, sure. I mean, that is the bottom line of course, the question that have been the pokes that we are seeing now in the government. Leaders and civil societies, of course, have raised a lot of questions concerning the move by the government to lift the ban, the 10-year ban, of course, which was implemented in the year 2012. Now, in 2022, the government has lifted the embargo on GMOs. And now, the big question that, of course, we've even had with the CSOs asking is why did the government really rush to lift this ban? Because on the other side, the government saying that they have subsidized the cost of production, they have subsidized fertilizers, they are going to subsidize the seeds for the farmers, and on the other side now they are bringing in they are lifting the ban on importation of the GMOs and, of course, opening doors for the cultivation of these GMOs. So what do you make of this move that was initiated by the government that has really raised questions on the political scene as well?
First of all, I want to say that the government did a very bad thing timely. One, for any activity to be done in the country that affects the lives of every Kenyan, there must be a good process. Like the president did organize for a stakeholders or task force to at least foresee the CBC. The same ought to have been done by the very government to at least bring the task force to at least see the reasons as to why the GMO was banned and the reason as to why it should be lifted. If you leave that aside, for this GMO to fully be accepted, public participation ought to have been done. Scientists ought to have been involved. Research institutions like KEMRI ought to have been involved in the same, such that the time the consumption of this product will be reaching the common mwananchi, it will be having no issues to do with maybe some doubts coming from the importers. Thirdly, the government have also decided to at least lower down the fertilizers. That's not bad. But once the production is fully done, who will be the best consumers of this product? That is a question which the government should even answer to the common mwananchi, mama mbogas and the watu wa boda boda and all those stuffs. The reason as to why, in my own thinking, the embargo was lifted by the government is one person is behind this. We have these persons, we call them cartels. Maybe there's some cartels who are really working on this stuff and they have cornered the government to the level that the current state of events, current government must accept it to at least allow the government, allow some persons in the name of cartels to at least do business. Fourthly,
I don't know, maybe just to interrupt you on that. Of course, when you talk about the cartels, and the cartels, we are seeing they had a lot of grip in the previous governments. And when this government was taking oath during the inauguration, we had the statement that was given by the Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua that one thing about their leadership in their governance is that they're going to free this country from state capture. So, is it anything to go by? Is it does that insinuate that probably this country is still in the grips and strong grips of probably these cartels?
We can't say that we can run away from the cartels, because even in the well-developed states, we have cartels running the economy. But as much as the Kenya Kwanza government, the key stakeholders were saying that they will be weeding out the cartels, a good number of them are also cartels. They are just using the same name, because how come it has not even taken 100 days, yet the embargo which was then from 2013 to now has now been lifted.
Yes.
Meaning within the very, very government, we have key cartels running this show. And therefore, they saying that they will be weeding the state cartels in the country, I think that's a big no. Yeah, that was just a sideshow to at least cheat the common mwananchi that we will be weeding out the cartels. Yet it is something not coming to pass. That's why I was saying in the same take under the GMO, we have very, very great cartels running from even the entire well-developed states. But I fail to understand why countries like Europe states, most of them have not accepted the fact that GMOs are good. Because they know they have detrimental states into the common mwananchi. But I don't know why they rush in our country.
All right, and maybe on the very same note, in as much as yes, most people don't really understand due to the checks that we did, of course, with the public. Some people seem not to understand what these GMOs are, and for some people have a layman understanding of these GMOs, and they are saying that borrowing from the experience we had with COVID-19, it's because the people in the foreign land, in the foreign countries, most of them abroad, of course, in the Western countries, because they are the major exporters of this GMO technology, and of course even the crops, and some of them probably rely on them. Unlike in the African continent, where we relied much on the organic foods, is that the effects of COVID-19, where we saw a lot of people dying in the Western countries, could be as a result that they relied much on these GMOs, and like for us in the African countries, we relied on these organic foods. So are you also probably on the same line of thought?
First of all, to bring it closer to the common mwananchi, mama mboga,
yes,
GMOs, these are stuffs which are like added into the feeds to at least boost their time frame when it comes to maybe let's take the case of a maize. You want to plant a maize. For it to do well before the normal stipulated time, you'll automatically use boosters.
Right.
These are the very, very GMOs we're talking about. In Africa, we've been so much into the organic part of us.
Yes.
And I think and I believe that the natural foods we've been taking are the ones which have really kept us away from the just concluded, or rather, still going on though, in a limited state, the COVID state.
Right.
Therefore, the GMO, they have detrimental results on our immune system.
Yes.
And therefore, I will automatically not say that they are right. And I fail to understand why our government is rushing before involving stakeholders on this.
All right.
I'm very worried.
And of course, that were the sentiments of the Wiper Party leader Kalonzo Musyoka, saying that in as much as, yes, the GMOs might address the food crisis in the country, but in the long run, they might have devastating health effects to the citizens. Away from that, Kutonde, now let us look at the National Assembly and even the Senate. Today, they concluded, they rather had the first sitting where they passed the members who are nominated for the business committee leadership. And previous to this sitting being adjourned, whatever the sitting that we had on Thursday, we saw the member of the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Wetangula, adjourning the sitting because there were forms of disagreement on the majority and the minority leadership in the House. Where we saw what happened is that they said that the Kenya Kwanza had the majority in the House, unlike opposed to the Azimio la Umoja, who probably thought that they were the majority in the House. So what do you make of the whole ordeal? Because, it wasn't really satisfactory for the Kenya Kwanza, rather for the Azimio side, going with the minority when they had highly anticipated that they were the majority in the House.
First, I want to congratulate our leaders for having been elected at different positions. And I want this to be in the common mwananchi's mind. We had Kenya Kwanza, which comprised of amalgamation of parties. We also had Azimio, which also involved many parties. At the time of, if we start with presidential,
yes,
Azimio only filled presidential aspirant, that was Raila Amolo Odinga.
Yes, Azimio only had one candidate, that is the presidency, yes.
They only had one candidate. Apart from that, each and every zone, they did zoning, such that if you are from the Nyanza side or the west part of Kenya, you'll be going with the party of that area.
Right.
Like ODM carried the best part of Nyanza and Western. When you go to the coast, the same applied.
Yes.
When you go to the Ukambani side, the Wiper carried the day.
Yes.
If you go to the central part, the Mount Kenya side, we had Jubilee, and if you go to Baringo side, we had some part of Kanu.
Yes.
Coming to Kenya Kwanza, UDA was the mother of all the parties.
Right.
But then if you check, out of these numbers, ODM had about 98 members. UDA had about 130 something voter,
41,
MPs. Now, coming back to the question you just asked, that was just part of UDA. Then if you check the other amalgamated parties forming Kenya Kwanza, they had 169, if I'm not wrong. Then, coming to Azimio, they had the least number. Therefore, in every mathematical context, the Kenya Kwanza are the ones who carried the day by having the numbers, right from the beginning. Therefore, by virtue of them having the majority leaders, I have no problem with that. Because provided the members they have, as from the beginning, they are the right persons, are the right parties to have the majority leader.
But of course,
the same applies to Azimio.
Right.
Yeah, by virtue of them having the minority seats.
Well, the questions that were being asked, of course, during the sitting is that prior to what we saw, members who are elected in different parties crossing the floor, of course, moving to the side where the government is lying, that is the Kenya Kwanza. Initially, before the crossing, of course, of the floor started, the Azimio side had majority, but of course now that happened. So that, of course, leads us to the next question. If the government of the day has the, has the majority whip and the majority leader in parliament, the question of keeping this government into checks, how possible and how feasible will it be for the opposition, who are having the only leadership position they're having in the houses are the minority leadership, they're not even in the speaker of the house and everything, in as much as this is supposed to be a neutral position. So how feasible and how possible is it for the opposition to keep checks in the government with the few positions that they're having?
Maybe I can take you back shortly. In the 11th Parliament, which started in the year 2002, I remember, the then president, may soul rest, Mwalimu Mwai Kibaki,
yes,
he didn't have many members. And at that time, and also if you go back to 1987, the members of the opposition were not many, but at that time they really kept the government of the day then on check. The same will still applies, but what I want to expect and what I want to tell Kenyans also is we must expect crossing of the floor.
Yes.
For those who will remain on the bench from the other side of opposition, it is their responsibility, no matter the number. But what they must expect is that the numbers must go down. Yes, because nobody will be willing. Also, the newly elected MPs, third-term MPs, second-term generals, they will automatically be crossing over because they really need to associate themselves with the government of the day and also get services to their people on the ground. So, in a nutshell, those who will remain as per the opposition will automatically carry out the day. Yes.
All right, impressive. Now, probably as we wind up, because of the interest of time, we have about 5 minutes. So, the question of the government fulfilling its promises. We have seen, of course, what the leader of opposition now, Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister Raila Odinga, saying that the government of the day used deception as a tool to win the hearts of Kenyans. And of course, probably you as a politician, because at some point you're also vying for an elective seat, that's some time back. So is it really true to say that deception is a weapon of mass destruction when it comes to winning these political seats? And of course that leads us to this question. The promises, the myriad of the many promises that were made by the government of the day, Kenya Kwanza, in trying to solve and to engage the common mwananchi with the bottom-up economic model. Is it something to go by? Is it something that will be achieved and Kenyans seeing the results of the decision they made on the ballot?
First, I want to say that we have two manifestos which are always presented to the common mwananchi. We have manifestos which are just said when we are on the campaign trail.
Yes.
But when it comes to real time, this is the real time we are now going through now. The manifesto which is said to Mama Mbogas is what they want to listen to.
Right.
What is it that the people of Kibra, what is it that the people of Endebes want to listen to?
Yes.
Yes. What is it that the people of Kajiado, deep down inside, what do they want to listen to?
Right.
That is what they are given. But when it comes to real issues, that is now what we are now seeing now, whereby we are seeing prices hiking,
the cost of living is
cost of living, you know.
Yeah,
that is the real
yes
manifesto. But at the time our politicians are looking for votes, they can use the sweet words. It's just like when you're seducing a lady, you may not have what she wants really, but as time goes by, you can even tell her that she'll even buy the whole earth. At the end of the day, you will win the lady.
Right.
By winning the lady, when it comes to real life situation whereby you'll be living together with her, that's when you tell her that lady, this one I said, but it can't work right now.
Yes.
this one will work. But okay, but already at that time maybe you are having kids, and therefore life will still go on.
Interesting.
What I want to say finally is, Kenyans, let us embrace ourselves and be ready to find it hard for the next 3 years or close to 2 years. Finally, I want to say something concerning the president. Our president is a symbol of national unity and is eligible to attend, visit, or even pay an abrupt meeting to any corner of this country. I want to condemn what happened when the president visited Homa Bay town constituency, Homa Bay County. As much as the president did not invite some members who are inclined to Azimio, by virtue of not attending the president's meeting is something which we don't want to see in this country. Because by the time you are fighting the government of the day, that means you are even fighting the development which that very, very government ought to bring to
that
us,
region.
That very, very region. I want to urge all leaders elected in both corners, embrace the government of the day, bring opportunities to your people, fight for opportunities for your people also. Because the very, very fight you are having then is not now. This Kenya is greater than us, and we must bring it better than we found it. Yes.
All right, and that's it, of course, for this discussion, the state of politics. We have had political analyst Kotonde. We are digging deep into what's happening in the political scene, and of course, a lot just for this section of politics. We'll be having probably him and others to see into it on what and how the government is conducting itself. With that, we're taking a very short break. We shall be coming back with more, so stay with us.
KUTV, in conjunction with Kenyatta University Funeral Home, is now offering death announcements immediately following our news bulletins at 7 p.m. At this sorrowful time, as you share in your grief, allow us to communicate your announcement of your loved one on KUTV in both Kiswahili and English. For more details, kindly inquire at the KU Funeral Home Service Desk or call 0736 928 380 or dial 020-359-9054.
I'm a freshman in Kenyatta University. This is all what I've heard about campus. Campus is full of freedom. Ni cumulative.
Mchezo hiyo ni poka gani kwani?
I'm a fourth year student and I mostly hang out at shopping center. I'm a arboretum, and what I'd tell first years is it's never too late to start being serious.
Maelfu na maelfu ya wahamiaji wakiwa na watoto kutoka nchi za Amerika ya Kati wanaendelea kuwasili kwenye mpaka kati ya Marekani na Mexico.
But folks, I'm going. Thank you very, very much. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Ni habari kutoka pembe zote duniani.
Pepo pasi kukufuku. Pepo pa ni idea.
Tazidi ananyonya, hanyonyi vizuri, anakuwa hayuko comfortable.
Jeshi la Jamhuri ya Kidemokrasia ya Kongo linapambana na waasi wa ADF.
Kwa sasa wanatoa wito kwa mashirika, makampuni na vile vituo vya uchukuzi.
Mambo mengi yatakwenda kama yalivyopangwa.
Hapa ni kuna mmoja wa viongozi wa chama cha wavuvi katika eneo hili.
Zaidi tunajaribu kuwapa chanjo ili ina boost ama inanyanyua kinga ya mwili, ndio inaenda kupelekea kupambana na virusi.
Ni duniani leo, Jumatatu mpaka Ijumaa, moja kwa moja kutoka VOA Swahili, Washington DC.
You are watching KUTV Primetime News with OMONDI OTIENO.
Welcome back. Let's carry on with the bulletin. Now, President William Ruto has led Kenyans in mourning Sheikh Mohammed Swalihu of the Jamia Mosque, who passed on Tuesday morning. Through his Twitter account, President Ruto sent his condolences to the families, friends, and the Jamia Mosque faithfuls for the loss of Imam Sheikh Mohammed Swalihu. Sheikh Mohammed died following a battle with cancer. He has served as an imam since 1995 till his demise. He specialized in the Islamic law and other Islamic studies, including Hadith and Tawheed. He will be buried at Kariakor Muslim Cemetery. And Kenyatta University today played host for the launch of the Genki and Argumento artificial diagnosis solutions, which are believed to be a new dawn for the screening in the medical field. With these solutions introduced in Kenya, deadly diseases such as the TB and cancer will be detected early and lives will be saved. Susan Oyaki with the report.
Congratulations. Diagnosal Africa, a local Kenyan company, has partnered with Deep Tech Medical Imaging, a US company based in India, to introduce into the Kenyan market two new solutions that are cost-effective radiological diagnosis of various diseases, including COVID-19. TB is among the top 5 diseases leading cause of death in Kenya. In 2020, 39,000 people have had TB, with 17,000 being children and 21,000 people having died. Genki and Argumento are advanced cloud-based or on-premise softwares that highly improve the detection of disease conditions.
People die of TB because they have not been identified to have the disease in good time and they have not received the appropriate treatment. So this technology addresses the first part, the identification or detection of TB disease. It will be made faster with less delay. So this technology helps in faster detection.
County governments, private hospitals, imaging centers, and other medical institutions engaged in screening are advised to purchase and incorporate the new solutions in order to help with proper screening, quality assured and flexible screening processes that will ensure faster detection and therefore achieve good treatment.
We are also looking at key stakeholders. For example, our colleagues, the radiologists, have a forum which brings them together. We have started the process of engaging with them so that we can sensitize and orient them on this solution.
With these new technologies in Kenya, Genki, which is not cloud-based, does not require internet connections in order to work and can be used in hospitals or in a mobile X-ray vans at hotspot. Argumento is cloud-based and therefore has a unique combination of AI-powered pathology prediction and automated structured and quantified reporting. For KUTV, I am Susan Wayaki.
Migori residents have been encouraged to stop isolating members of their families who are suffering from cancer. Migori County Director John Okeyu lamented that the patients get rejected by their families due to the financial burden and the implications they impact as a result of the cancer ailment they experience.
Battling with cancer and chronic infections remains a nightmare, especially for patients from humble backgrounds who face financial burdens when it comes to managing the disease. Nevertheless, discrimination and rejection from family and society worsens the situation. Sorry Lakeside Hospital, Migori County Director Dr. John Okeyu said that the financial burden mostly affects married women who face rejection and get isolated by their spouses after they are diagnosed with cancer. Hence, when the medical bills become huge and unpayable, majority of women end up being chased from their matrimonial homes Do the social workers take a role to handle the patients?
Yeah, we cannot say that they are being chased away, but the challenges which I know and they are getting is challenges for finance. You might find that quite a number of women are coming with the challenges of finance.
The health workers said that the patients that seek medication in the hospital sometimes do not have any income to clear their bills. As social workers, they try as hard as possible to reach the community and sensitize spouses of cancer patients to understand that cancer is just like any other chronic disorder.
Most of the time when they come to the facility, they really talked about of them being rejected in the society. And this one has been a challenge. So, as a relax side, we're asking the government of Kenya that is working, if at all they could come in and help this cancer patient.
To curb the situation, the director has called on the affected families to embrace chicken farming, which she gave out confidence that will help reduce the financial burdens of healthcare treatment bills. Jeff Mongi, KUTV.
Let's now take a look at what's happening in the world of sports. Now, Isuzu East Africa has today launched a special edition named Eliud Kipchoge 159 DMAX in the honor of the world marathon record holder as an appreciation to his achievements. This comes shortly after Kipchoge broke his own world marathon record a fortnight ago in Berlin, running 2 hours, 1 minute and 9 seconds. Kipchoge, who has been an ambassador to Isuzu East Africa since 2017, praised the partnership, saying that the company has been his third leg in athletics. And four-time British Olympic men's 100 meters relay champion CJ Yuja has been banned for the 22 months after he tested positive for 2 banned substances, Ostarine and S23, at the Tokyo Olympics. The Athletics Integrity Unit (AIU) and the World Anti-Doping Agency ruled that the sprinters' anti-doping rule violation was not deliberate and it was instead a result of his ingestion of a contaminated supplement. The ban, which is backdated to 6 August 2021, was reduced by 2 months on account of the 28-year-old quick admittance of the violation and will end on June 5th, 2023. Hughes has expressed regret to his relay teammates after Britain was stripped of a medal at a major event for only the 3rd time. And finally, Brighton and Zambian midfielder Enoch Mwepu has been forced to retire from football at the age of 24 following a hereditary heart condition. His early retirement comes shortly after a series of misfortunes, including his illness on a trip with Zambian national and incompetence in training sessions due to his health condition. Mwepu had tests on his return to England, and Brighton said that the results meant only option was for him to raise and to hang his boots. And with that, we call it a wrap here on KUTV Primetime News. Many thanks indeed for your valid company throughout the bulletin. Our sign language interpreter tonight has been Macrain Achieng. My name is OMONDI OTIENO. Until next week, you have a great night, as we'll be having our debutant Mercy Imbinda tomorrow for the Primetime Bulletin. Have a great night.